creating our learn and earn models for students and for employers. Students are able to take classes and work in their field and be paid by employers as part of their educational curriculum. That's what leads to the 100% job placement that we have in programs like that.
Welcome to episode 100 of the LorainCounty.com Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Ed Skimmon. Let's begin by acknowledging the LorainCounty.com champion sponsors: WOBL Radio, Lorain County JVS, Emerge Inc., Lorain County Community College, Lorain County Commissioners, and the Community Foundation of Lorain County. Today, we are talking with Dr. Marcia Ballinger, President of Lorain County Community College. Join us as Dr. Ballinger talks about Lorain County Community College's innovative educational and career initiatives, including Learn and Earn models, College Credit Plus, and technical training programs. She shares insights into LCCC's Thrive 2035 vision, strategic partnerships, and her leadership philosophy focused on community engagement and continuous improvement. It was intentional to have the president of Lorain County Community College as the guest on the 100th episode of this podcast. If you listen back through previous episodes, you will repeatedly hear guests reference the college as a partner, a resource, and a connector across nearly every part of our community. For us, that connection runs deep. Lorain County Community College was one of the first sponsors of LorainCounty.com, approved by Dr. Ballinger herself when she served as the Director of Marketing. The college has been a consistent and trusted partner for more than 20 years. Lorain County Community College plays a critical role in Lorain County by helping people build skills, access opportunity, and move forward in their careers, while also supporting employers, long-term economic growth, and community well-being across the county. One quick note, this episode was recorded in late December. Like many people at the time, I was recovering from a cold, so I apologize in advance for how my voice sounds. Here is my conversation with Dr. Marcia Ballinger.
Marcia Ballinger, President of Lorain County Community College.
Welcome, Dr. Ballinger. Thank you for joining us and sharing your insights.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
To begin, could you provide an overview of Lorain County Community College?
Lorain County Community College was created now more than 60 years ago as Ohio's first community college with a permanent campus. And we were created by the people, for the people, including our employers from the community. So when Lorain County came forward in the early 60s to say, after legislation was passed in the state of Ohio, that we think that having affordable higher education within the reach of all Lorain Countyans would be a phenomenal opportunity. And our employers at the time, so think about the industrial base of steel, automotive, and the supply chain, they needed access to new workers who had technical skills that would include career technical education. And so Lorain County Community College was created to fill that need. And I think it demonstrates the commitment of our community to ensuring that Lorain County is positioned to lead with innovation and to provide opportunities for residents. And so fast forward now more than 60 years, and the impact has truly been extraordinary. More than 50,000 Lorain Countyans have earned their associate's degrees from Lorain County Community College. Today, we are in every high school within Lorain County offering College Credit Plus, which is just really a tremendous opportunity for students to earn college credit for free while they are in high school. And something that we're really proud of is the fact that we now have 52%, so more than half of all students graduating from Lorain County high schools are graduating with an average of 22 credit hours from LCCC, and that is a tremendous cost savings to their families. And that is a hallmark program for us. We lead the state. We have double the number of participants, and we lead the national average with that. And I think that is a wonderful indication of how the college partners with our K through 12 system to create pathways to opportunities and on-ramps to higher education. Lorain County Community College also is deeply embedded into our healthcare community. We are the largest educator and trainer of our healthcare professions in our community. So whether we're talking about nursing or radiology or medical assisting or dental, among many others. So we are that provider. And we're also so proud of the fact that we are the leading educator and trainer for first responders in our community. So whether that's through our police academy or paramedics or EMS, we continue to evolve to truly meet the needs of our community. That's been in our DNA for 6 decades plus. And so Industry 4.0, particularly around advanced manufacturing, has been a hallmark of ours. That has been, I think, part of our foundation since the college was created. And we know that our focus on technician level training across the areas of whether it's semiconductors, whether it is in robotics, automation, IT, extremely important to ensure that our employers have the access to the quality education for a workforce to ensure their competitiveness. And at the end of the day, it is really about ensuring that we are moving individuals up the socioeconomic ladder and creating a more vibrant future for all.
Could you describe your role and responsibilities as president of the college?
My role is to ensure that every student's dream matters and that we meet students where they are to help them achieve their goals of whether it's that short-term credential, whether it's that associate's degree or bachelor's degree. And so having the tremendous opportunity to lead Lorain County Community College every day, I don't view it as a job. I view it as passion and providing those opportunities and helping to make those dreams come true. Not to sound cliche-ish, but that is the reality. Community colleges are a launchpad to careers. They are a launchpad to better futures for all. And I firmly believe in that. This is my 10th year as president, but I have been here for 34 years and have seen the evolution. And for me, it was always about Lorain County Community College and making this a better place to ensure that everyone is thriving.
What's the overall long-term impact the college is working to achieve for students and the community?
When you think about 2035, a decade from now, but we're focused on 2035. We play a long ball game here, and I think the college has since its onset. And to think about what is that future. And so in terms of the impact as we consider where do we want to be in a decade, given the reality that change is happening at an exponential pace. But I believe that unless you are aspiring to that greater goal, then you don't achieve it. And so we practice designing with the end in mind. And so that end in mind is in a decade, what we would like to see achieve is that 50% of all individuals in every community will attain a degree or a credential of value that provides for a family sustaining wage. Again, we want to move individuals up that socioeconomic ladder. Two of the major strategies and goals embedded within that, as I've shared, dual enrollment or College Credit Plus. While we currently have 52% of our students graduating with credit, our goal is to have 85% of students graduating from Lorain County high schools with at least 30 credit hours with us. So halfway to an associate's degree. Many are graduating with an entire associate's degree, but we want to create even more of that on-ramp. And I can share a little bit more about how we're planning to do that. But secondly, it's also about bachelor's degree attainment. While an industry recognized credential, a one-year technical certificate, an associate's degree, those all build off of each other and ladder up because we're also very committed to providing students with bachelor's degrees, both through the university partnership as well as Lorain County Community College is authorized to deliver our own bachelor's degrees as well.
I love the Thrive 2035 vision of delivering 35,000 degrees and credentials of value by 2035.
That's right.
I like it for two reasons. One, the idea that it's not always degrees. Different people have different needs and you're meeting them where they're at. And then of value means that in 5 years from now, it may be a different thing than we're visioning right now. And
that's exactly right.
You're open to evolving to meet the needs.
And we have to. And I think so while the aspirational goal is 10 years from now, the 35,000 more credentials and degrees of value. And that is a stretch goal, right? We did a lot of projections and forecasting and looking at that. And so, as you've just alluded to, that continuing to evolve and transform, we don't know from one day to the next what new technologies or new needs are going to evolve. When we did our visioning process prior to Thrive 2035, which was just adopted this past summer, previously we had Vision 2025, 10,000 degrees of impact, that was adopted just before the pandemic. So it was the latter part of 2019. And that goal was within 6 years, we would graduate 10,000 more residents. And again, stretch target, stretch goal. We ended up exceeding that goal, and we exceeded it 1 year early. And we utilize a framework as part of our planning process that looks at mega trends and drivers. And so those evolving needs, and always listening and learning from our employers and with our employers and engaging them to co-create with us. What was interesting, Ed, in 2019, as we were identifying our mega trends and drivers, one of those in 2019 was artificial intelligence. And so we went through a process around these 9 mega trends and drivers and looked at it and thought, is this something that we think will impact Lorain County Community College? Will this impact our community? How do we need to plan for it? How do we need to design around it? And so our strategic foresight model utilizes volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. It is more focused than strategic planning. Strategic planning comes after that. And so this is really looking at it through a lens of strategic foresight. That has served us, I think, extremely well. And we refresh our plan on an ongoing basis because that's really what gives us the ability to lean into transformation. And so we utilize a flywheel. When you think about the flywheel effect of going from good to great and how we can take what is transformational impact, where do we need to make strategic investments for then operational excellence to ensure that we are laser focused on the mission of Lorain County Community College. And I think that's the part that keeps us so relevant, is to always apply that flywheel lens to, is this an area we should be investing in? Is this an area we need to pivot to evolve with? So a couple of examples that I would share with you: healthcare is so critically important in all communities. And here we're experiencing the increased needs in Lorain County and the Northeast Ohio region around healthcare. We're very excited, for example, to see the growth that's happening with the Cleveland Clinic, with the expansion of the Avon Hospital. With that kind of expansion and growth, and with the population growth of what we're experiencing in Lorain County, comes the need for more healthcare and more healthcare workers. So we have just applied for the opportunity to deliver our own Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. That is a completion program for students who are already RNs who want to go back and get their BSN. And so that's an example of how we're continuing to pivot and grow. In the technical fields, particularly around Industry 4.0, we have a tremendous portfolio of educational offerings that are specific to semiconductors and microelectronic manufacturing systems, along with robotics and automation. And those are changing by the day, and engaging employers as partners in designing that. And that's not something that happens once a year with an advisory committee. That is deep partnerships, relationships with employers, and then creating what we like to describe as our learn and earn models for students and for employers, so that students are able to take classes and work in their field and be paid by employers as part of their educational curriculum. And then that's what leads to the 100% job placement, for example, that we have in programs like that.
Also important for people who maybe can't not work while going to school.
That's exactly right. So aligning those together, because we want to ensure that as part of that career connectedness, that exposing students to the opportunities and working in the field as a part of that gives them the ability to determine, hey, is this the right program for me? Is this the right fit? While at the same time, the employer has that ability to determine, is that student a good potential hire for them? And so I think that's been part of the evolution of what we are experiencing as well.
In addition to aligning with business needs, LCC is also emphasizes entrepreneurship and
Right.
innovation,
Yes.
including a Small Business Development Center, Neo LaunchNet, Glide, and the Entrepreneurial Innovation Center. Why is supporting entrepreneurship important to the college's mission?
We believe that it's always about creating and innovating. Again, it goes back to the genesis of Lorain County Community College. And so entrepreneurship is something that we embrace, and it is across the curriculum, not only in business classes, for example. And so the resources that you've just described, we are in a world today where oftentimes people want to work for themselves. They want to be the business startup, as you have been, and launch your own business and grow that business here in our community. So we have had at least 2 decades now of a deep commitment to entrepreneurship, whether it's been a certificate program, an associate's degree program, working through our university partnership for degrees, but also the resources of the Small Business Development Center, Neo LaunchNet, working with students to help them write their business plan, to create their job ventures. I always love when I see students and then graduates who have that spark of, yes, I majored in culinary because I love to prepare food and I love the hospitality industry, but I really want to have my own food truck, or I really want to have my own restaurant. And so that ability to merge that across the curriculum, as well as working with residents from our community to help them grow their businesses. When you walk through our Entrepreneurship Center and our Smart Center, and you see businesses like P-Chip. P-Chip is a tremendous example of a company. In fact, Bill Iben, who located the company here, who was in charge of their technology, he was a graduate of ours from a couple of decades ago. And he saw what the opportunities were here on this campus to work with Glide, which is our Great Lakes Innovation and Development Enterprise, which works with entrepreneurs, and to have the opportunity to collaborate and hire students as interns. And they've taken sensors that are the size of a piece of salt and embed that into whether it's pharmaceutical products, whether it's food products, to determine the authenticity of that. And so that's a great example, I think, of someone who's an alum who then became an entrepreneur, who then went out, came back to Lorain County, and is invested in growing a business here. And that's part of our entrepreneurial ecosystem.
You mentioned AI that I know the college was early
Yes.
on to. Can you talk about the ways it's impacting the college at all the different levels? What's your perspective of the use of AI tools in education, both in the classroom and in operations?
Yeah, I think we're all learning day to day about AI. I think it presents some tremendous opportunities. When we consider some of the most transformational times in history, things like when Gutenberg invented the press, right? The only other time in history where acceleration happened like that started to occur in 2007 and 8. And that was when cloud computing and chips and just the whole advent of new technologies and new platforms, cloud computing, the iPhone, et cetera. Well, now fast forward to the introduction of AI now 7, 8 years ago, that curve, that exponential curve is happening even more so, to a tune of, it was like the invention of what fire did for society, right? Or
Sure.
electricity. And so that's the kind of era that we are in now. And I don't think we fully have begun to even understand how it's transforming everything that we do. But specific to your question, how are we embracing it at Lorain County Community College? Twofold. From a teaching and learning perspective in the classroom, it reminds me of calculators back 30 years ago or 40 years ago. It's here, it's happening. How do we teach with it in ways that are responsible and responsive and ethical? And so you find the early adopters and how it gets embedded into curriculum. But Ohio has moved in a direction where it will be part of general education outcomes in college courses. And I think that's great. Are there challenges with it? Absolutely. But I think that goes back to, how do you teach students how to utilize the tools, how to ethically utilize them? From a business operations and efficiency, very exciting. So we have an AI task force that is on the operations side where we are embedding it into different areas and different systems and approaches. A couple examples that I would share with you is on the student facing side. We utilize an AI focused texting tool that is based on nudging that sends messages out to students that is customized to them utilizing AI. That's an example. Another example is our CRM or our customer relationship management system. A major feature of that is the college application. And so we have moved to one that has AI embedded into it so that it's much more intuitive and focused on specifically what the students' desires, needs are, and that sort of thing. We also utilize AI significantly in my office in daily operations. And you can see just how much more efficient if you're researching or pulling data together, and making sure that it's all correct because there are certainly some challenges to it. And then we also see our role as a thought leader in the community and as delivering community education of how we can help to bring our community together around AI as well.
You mentioned earlier that you partner with every local school district for the College Credit Plus. How is this working in Lorain County, and what benefits does it provide students and families?
From my perspective, College Credit Plus, I think, is one of the greatest opportunities that students have. While we are in every high school teaching it, we also have students who come here to campus and through our early college high school as an example. But I will highlight two different models that I think are just so innovative and demonstrate what true partnerships look like, not only between the college and the high school, but also business, employers in our community, and philanthropy. So at Midview High School in Grafton, we have partnered with them, and they were early adopters of how can we do more career technical education as part of College Credit Plus. And because prior to that, the majority of College Credit Plus classes in high school were focused on general education courses designed for transfer primarily, or designed for the Associate of Arts or the Associate of Science degree. But we were hearing from our high schools that there was a real need, and also from employers, to work at the 9th through 12th grade level to help to connect students in a more direct way. So we partnered with Midview High School and to take what was their old shop floor and literally renovate it, redesign it into a modified clean room, similar to the clean rooms that we have on our campus that are teaching students how to work with chips and wafers and semiconductors and circuit boards and wire bonding. And so that involved not only renovating, outfitting that and designing it, but then doing a train the trainer program where our faculty trained the high school faculty to teach a few of the introductory level courses in our program. And it also involved a legislative change. And so we worked with then Senator Gail Manning to help to create legislation that would provide for students who could take career technical programs in high school for college credit. And so we implemented that with Midview a few years ago. Both Ridge Tool Company and the Nord Family Foundation funded the construction and the equipment. And the students, there are about 50 students in the high school taking that program. They receive 5 industry recognized certifications in that first year of taking that program. And what that means for them is that they can go to work that summer and really make a great salary while, again, they are part of the program.
Many Lorain County Community College students balance academics with work and family responsibilities. What support services does the college provide to help students succeed at both inside and outside of the classroom?
Yeah, so we truly believe in meeting every student where she or he is. That goes back to my earlier comments. Every student's dream matters. And so having that right balance and mix of student supports, and I would describe them as intensive student supports, very different than the occasional I might meet with an advisor to help me register for a class. So our model is what we call a guided pathways model, where we start working with the student at their very connection to the college throughout their journey here. And so we have refined over the past decade our student services and our approach to student services. One of our highlights is our ARC, which is an acronym for the Advocacy and Resource Center. And that's where we co-locate everything together to really provide that intensive support. So whether it is emergency aid that the student may need, it could be our food pantry. So we declared over 8 years ago that Lorain County Community College would be a hunger-free campus. And if students come to college hungry, they're not going to be successful. We partner with Second Harvest Food Bank for our food pantry that is open throughout the entire year for students. We also have a professional clothing closet. We know that sometimes having access to the suit that you might want to have for that interview process. And so that goes hand in hand with our career services, mental health services. We partner with our community partners as well, like Rivian, among others, and we've expanded access for that. We also have a tremendous financial aid services, counseling, advising, and we are very focused on something called careers by design, so that we are ensuring that the advising that we are doing for students, which doesn't just happen in student services, it happens throughout the college, is really around the students' interests, but also connecting them and helping to educate them about what are the pathways and the job outlook and the salaries and the connection to employers as a part of it. And so now career services doesn't happen at the end of the pathway for students. It is embedded throughout their entire journey with us.
I know that keeping higher education affordable is important to the college.
It is.
How do you ensure the college remains affordable and maintains quality?
That is part of our DNA. When the college was created back in 1963, it was by the voters of Lorain County, and they have supported us throughout the college's history, and that helps to certainly keep tuition affordable. We have a deep commitment to that affordability, and we look for ways to create greater financial efficiencies. When we think about our university partnership as one example, we provide 3 years of a 4-year degree as part of the university partnership. So we have 13 universities that offer more than 90 bachelor's and master's degrees here. And 75% of the bachelor's degree programs through the university partnership are what we describe as 3+1 degrees. They can get 3 years out of our curriculum at our tuition and then 1 year of the university's tuition. And that has created the model for the most economical route to a bachelor's degree in the entire state of Ohio. Just this past year, we were recognized as one of the top 10% of the most affordable community colleges in the nation.
You've won a lot of awards recently, including the Aspen Institute Award. Tell me why those are important to you.
The Aspen Award looks at the 200 community colleges across the country that are exceeding metrics in student success. Winning awards, it's not about applying for and winning an award, right? It is really for us about, are we delivering on what our community needs? It's always wonderful to be recognized by outside organizations that can help to validate, because they are evaluating colleges across the country. So the Aspen is one of those that is deeply committed to student success. And so it's really the outcomes of our students that are being measured. And I think that is a strong testimonial to the students who enroll at Lorain County Community College. We are an open access institution, meaning that every student who's interested in attending Lorain County Community College, it is an open door to LCCC. Within the past few years, we've had other awards, one from a little known university called Harvard University, which has something called Managing the Future of Work. And so they identified 5 community colleges across the country who are deeply engaged in helping to drive local economies. And so they sent a team of researchers here to look at how we were, again, partnering with our employers, partnering with our other constituents throughout the region to align programs to drive economic impact. And so I think that's another certainly example of that. And then several years ago, we won from the American Association of Community Colleges, which represents all 1,200 community colleges, the #1 award for student success in the country. And I think, again, that's representative of the wonderful faculty staff, but it's really about our students. And when you think about Lorain County, you think about grit, perseverance, determination, and innovation, and that's who our students are, and they're being recognized.
Let's switch over and talk about your journey. What's your background and what led you to the role of president of Lorain
Yeah.
County Community College?
I would describe myself as a non-traditional president. You and I have known each other for many years.
Yes.
And I did not start out with an aspiration to become a community college president. It was the journey that happened along the way. And that's, I think, what happens with our students as well. It's that process of self-discovery and continued education along the way. And as I noted earlier, I've been here now for 34 years and had the opportunity to be mentored by Roy Church, who's the president emeritus at Lorain County Community College, who is here for 30 years. And he gave me the opportunity to learn different parts of the college and the encouragement, as did others, to continue my education and build my portfolio. And so I'm a proud graduate of our university partnership. I earned my MBA through Kent State University and did that all on Lorain County Community College's campus. So I know firsthand just how critically important it is as a working adult raising a family to have access to the educational opportunities. And so I completed my MBA through Kent State University. And then shortly after that, decided to embark on a PhD and have had the great opportunity to work in all areas of the college throughout my career. And prior to moving into the presidency, then a decade ago, moved into academic affairs and student services. So I've learned everything from the inside out.
In the time you've been with the college, not just as president, but in your many other roles, what are you most proud of accomplishing?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, one of the things I'm most proud of accomplishing has really been the ability for us to deliver our own applied bachelor's degrees. Because community colleges, and in particular Lorain County Community College, we are so agile and adaptable that we were the first community college back in 2018, 2 years after I became president, to be able to deliver a bachelor's degree. And I think that the 30 plus years that I had been here, I would hear time and time again, so when is Lorain County Community College going to become a 4-year university? And while we were not able to because of legislation, we were able to create the university partnership, which is a wonderful opportunity. For us to now be granting bachelor's degrees has really, I think, moved Lorain County Community College into a new era. Also, I would say that the portfolio that we've developed in not only response, but helping to drive that with regard to the work in semiconductors. And when you look at Northeast Ohio and the supply chain that we have here, it is so dynamic. And I'm so proud that we partner with the employers to design what it is that they need and have been at the forefront of that. But at the end of the day, I'm most proud of our community and how it is continuing to thrive and to grow. I can go through data and statistics of how many increases we've had. It goes back to your other question in terms of what I'm most proud of. Behind every data point is a real person. And I'm most proud of the successes that they're having.
What would you still like to accomplish?
What I would still like to accomplish is hitting that 35,000 mark in the next decade.
Based on your experience, what advice would you give a student or young professional in Lorain County who's pursuing their education or starting their career?
I would give them the advice of really discovering what passion do they have, what interests them, finding the economical route to it. Big theme today in higher education is, and we're focused on this, we want students to graduate debt-free. And there's a lot of pathways for students to take. And so if it's a student in high school or their families, consider starting at Lorain County Community College and saving thousands and thousands of dollars and starting up that career pathway, that career ladder. We created a program for high school students called Bridges to Success. In fact, it was Avon High School 4 years ago that came to us and said, shortly after the pandemic, and asked if we would help them create more of a career exploratory kind of a program for students, again, to give them that hands-on access rather than just looking at something and saying, I'm not sure if I want to go into nursing or I want to go into culinary or I'm interested in being a graphic designer or a web designer or social media. And so we started this program, which has expanded now into 10 high schools. That's a great way. I would encourage students, sign up for something like that, and you'll earn college credit by doing it. And you will become immersed in experiences that you probably may not have thought about. For adults, I would encourage them to, if they are either unemployed or underemployed, or they're thinking about changing a career, enroll in a program like a fast track. So we have been very, I think, innovative in creating new models. So it's no longer the semester by semester model. It's flexible programming that's dynamic in high demand areas that are connected to careers. And so I would encourage adults to look at that. Sometimes if you say, oh, that's a 2-year program if you go full time, or even if you think about, well, I could go part time for a 2-year program, but by the time I factor in childcare and I work a part-time job, that's why having something like a fast track that can be completed in less than 16 weeks. Most students, that they're first generation adults that are going into a fast track program, it clearly aligns to employment and it is an on-ramp, and we're seeing great successes with those. So I'd encourage them to do that kind of exploration either through a fast track, or if the student is in high school, to do it through a Bridges to Success program.
How would you describe your leadership style, and who or what has influenced your leadership approach the most?
I would like to describe my leadership style as one of collaboration and building consensus and partnerships. I've had some tremendous opportunities, and whether it's been formal education, but some of the higher education, community college leadership opportunities have really helped to shape my views and hopefully the style. The Aspen Institute, I was in the inaugural class of the Aspen Presidential Fellows for Community College Presidents back in 2016. That brought together 40 rising community college presidents. So for 9 years, we have stayed together. And learning from peers, I've always have found to be extremely valuable. And every day is a lesson. And learning from our students, learning from our community, and serving others has really been, I think, because that's the community in community college.
Outside of work, what are your interests and hobbies, and how do they help recharge you?
I have 2 grandkids that are the loves of my life, 8 and 5. And so they keep me grounded. They keep me focused, even though they live a couple hours away, but it's always seeing things through their eyes. And certainly when time permits, I love to read and just to be immersed in our community. It's hard for me to separate like what is work versus what is downtime, because downtime is doing things in the community, which is all interconnected.
Finally, where can people learn more about Lorain County Community College and connect with you?
Yeah, the best thing they can do is go to loraincccc.edu to our website. And certainly if anyone is interested in sending me ideas, message, they can send it to president@loraincccc.edu.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ballinger, for joining us and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you for listening to the LorainCounty.com Insights podcast. Each episode, we share conversations with the people shaping life in Lorain County, from business and government to education, nonprofits, healthcare, and entertainment. Be sure to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. You can also visit LorainCounty.com to discover local events, volunteer opportunities, and more community resources. If you know someone who's making a difference in Lorain County, send us a note at podcast@LorainCounty.com. We would love to share their story and insights. Special thanks to our producer, Leah Gerke, and to you for listening. This has been the LorainCounty.com Insights Podcast, conversations with the people shaping Lorain County.